Okay folks, so we need another little stopgap video because I ran out of filler primer for my GRP moulds, which is unfortunate. Shows bad planning, doesn't it, eh? No, I've got 5 litres of the stuff, and my days, I had no idea how much of it I was going to use. Either way, what I'm doing at the minute is sorting wheel weights. These my mate got these for me. He picked them up from the garage, and why do I want wheel weights? Well, it's not just wheel weights in here. There's a lot of valve stems, and there's actually a fair amount of brass in these valve stems. Yeah, you should get rid of the rubber. We'll burn that off. That's no problem. Get the brass back, which is ever so useful. But the wheel weights, there's no lead in here, or I haven't found any lead ones yet. Maybe I've missed a couple, which shouldn't really matter. Majority of them are steel. Which are pretty easy to pick out. And steel ones are going to go to a scrap man. The rest of them are either pure zinc or zinc aluminium alloy. And those are, I don't need them right now, but eventually I'll be making some naval brass, which is a fairly high zinc content brass, with a bit of lead in it, so we'll have to be careful about not killing ourselves. Well, I don't know why I just magneted that bit, but yeah, some of those horseshoe shaped ones are actually steel. But to do that, I'm going to have to alloy my zinc with my copper that I've got, and then we'll have some nice brass that we can use to make some incredibly corrosion resistant, huge great big brass door handles for the underground bunker. Yeah, which is what everyone wants in their underground bunker, isn't it? Hey, you've got to have some nice big brass handles. So the last little bit here, I've already covered 1-2.5 litre tub full of wheel weights. There's another one which I won't even get halfway full. Let me just finish this off, and then we'll try and melt them down. I don't want big ingots. What I want to do is make basically a rod, so I can snip bits off however much I need. Because rather than cast the ingots of brass, you know, zinc likes to burn off. So what will be best if I alloy the brass as and when I need it. So that's why we'll just try and cast all this zinc into rods basically, so I can easily snip them. Let's see how well that works. Okay, so we're going with the trusted low-tech setup with the zinc smelting. Got my Sheen flame gun. This is a gardening tool for doing weeding really quickly, basically. Just a kerosene torch, giant blowtorch sort of thing. Wheel weights, I'm just going to use a stainless pot as a crucible because I don't want to contaminate my graphite crucibles on the zinc. I think I'll get another one for dicking around trying to make my own brasses and stuff. Either way, we're not going to get it that hot. I don't want to get it hot enough to smoke the zinc off here, because you know, that's incredibly dangerous. It's the you know, the worst headaches I've ever had, apart from boozing, been as a result of dicking around with zinc too much. And here we've got the super long skinny ingot mould. I just knocked this out of a bit of angle iron. But this should give me some nice long, you know, strips of zinc that I can cut with a bolt cutter, you know, and get some fairly accurate measurements in my alloying. Yeah, alright, so we'll fire this little puppy up and see what happens, I suppose. fire, to make the big fire, to make the really big fire. Oh, stop it! No, not too much. No, you're just taking the piss now, aren't you? You're just being silly now, aren't you? Come on. That's it. That's it, my lovely. My dribbly. Ooh. There's. This torch has got such an obscene amount of power. It's only ticking over in a minute, and the that stainless steel pot's glowing red hot already. Let's crack it open a bit. Oh, wrong way.
His reconnaissance had to continue right to the moment the first M79 grenades were fired at the guard towers. The Marines were counting on him. Well, maybe this would show the guys from Philly how important he was. Henry's operation breaks down and I handle things. Eddie Morello is important, he thought, stoking the fires of his own ego as he drove up Route 40 towards Aberdeen. Idiot can't run his own operation, can't get dependable people. I told Tony he was too smart for his own good, too clever, not really a serious businessman. Oh no, he's serious. He's more serious than you are, Eddie. Henry is going to be the... dropped out of the sky, started and stopped. His wife and son saw it again.
Funny old stuff is zinc. Look at my slag heap. What a fucking slag heap. Right, YouTube's not going to like that word, is it? I'm on about metal, YouTube. Don't worry. Don't piss your knickers. Yeah, what are we on about? Yeah, right. That frosty old look looks just like, you know, a bit hot dip galv, doesn't it? That one's still hot. You know, like a car window on a frosty morning. But I mean, it's kind of exactly what hot dip galv looks like, isn't it? Not there. And when it cracks, when you snap it, it's got a really distinct sort of crystalline structure in it. It breaks quite easily, I suppose. Well, you'd never normally find it on its own. A lot of these wheel weights were alloyed with aluminium from the markings on them anyway. But I don't know why I'm looking at the slag heap. There's no markings left on that, is there? Eh? Either way, these are all the misformed bits of ingot, and there's no real need to melt them down again. But I was just curious as to how it would react without all the slag and bits of steel in there. So I'm just going to melt these down and pour it and see if I what I noticed with this is by the time I got it all molten, there's so much fezz and corruption on here that I was getting it quite warm and I was getting little wisps of smoke. Not all the time. The first time I got it way too hot, and the second and third time, like, it was, you know, I was only getting it nicely molten by the time I was getting those little wisps of the white death coming off it, you know, and that crazy blue flame, you know, the zinc actually burning. So I was just out of curiosity, hoping to see if I could melt the smelted, the more refined, less shitted up zinc, melt it cleanly. Yeah, just, you know, just a bit of curiosity. Let's have a little crack and see what happens with this. Got my stack over there. I'm not going to bother melting them all into long strips because marine brass or Admiralty brass, I don't know, I think the two are different actually, but naval brass is different to Admiralty brass, but Admiralty brass has a lot of tin in it. The naval brass has a huge amount of zinc, like 40% or something crazy like that, and then lead as well. So it's something I'll have to be a little bit cautious about with the old respiration and that. I've got some old Czech gas masks and that'll probably be alright. My half face mask, what have I done with that? The fucking state of this place at the moment. The mould making is going well, but like I say, I ran out of filler and I've made a terrible mess of this place. But there we go, whatever mask this is. There is a 3M mask, but I accidentally bought these filters. I thought I was buying 3M filters because I was, you know, actually for once planning on getting the right gear, but yeah, it must have been some dodgy advert on eBay, and it's just Chu Chang Twing filters, not actual 3M filters, but organic vapors. Either way, these, you know, half face masks never seal up. Full face masks cost a fortune, but the Czech gas masks, I painted the inside of my containers with them, like, absolutely no problem whatsoever. Doing the outside without the gas mask on fucking nearly killed me. Like, that's outside and that, so you know, because I didn't have the gas mask on, I didn't want any of my neighbours seeing me in a Cold War gas mask in it. But so yeah, I'll probably use that in future if I'm putting lead in there as well, making my brass, because it will be getting a lot hotter and I will get a lot of this shit kicking off. But yeah, what I want to see now is if I can just cast that cleanly, you know, so keep it nice and keep the temperature nice and low, just take it easy and see what happens. So I'll try to set this camera on all the time and so you can see it melt. It'll probably melt. The camera's going to end up getting melted there. Let's set it off to one side.
Something like that. He slit open the bag with a penknife, dumping the contents into the first mixing bowl at arm's length, then adding a pre-measured quantity of sugar.
It's all melted, and we've not had any smoke off it. That's promising, isn't it?
There had been no warning at all. Suddenly there was someone else there at the door, holding a pistol. He was dressed in military clothes, bright fatigue, and his face was painted green and black. There wasn't any need for silence. His prey had seen to that. Kelly had reconverted his Colt back to .45 caliber, and he knew that the hole in the front of the automatic seemed large enough to park a car to the others in the room. He pointed with his left hand. That way.
Alright, well that was quite nice. That was a nice clean cast. Oh, it pops out of that one nice. So I spent a bit of time, you know, putting these angled ends on it and taking the die grinder to it. My arch nemesis, the carbide bits, eh? And the little daggery death nails that they produce. And that made a nice little long skinny ingot mould. This one, on the other hand, I just made it square like an idiot. So, you know, I always got to tease the bits and bobs out. Maybe I'll make another one day. But this makes nice little sized ingots. Because I can put these, this is what I normally use when I'm casting aluminium. And I put my leftovers in here. And I've got a bag of them somewhere. So why I wasn't keen on using this size this time, because obviously that looks just like my aluminium ingots. Obviously, you know, it's a lot heavier. So I doubt I'll make any mistakes. It doesn't really matter, but yeah. Maybe I'll make another one. Maybe I'll make another one, or just take the die grinder to this. That would be the sensible thing to do, wouldn't it? Eh? There we go. All that, but it's got shear sides and rough welds there, which you can see in the ingots. So that's what a 2-gallon bucket of wheel weights and valve stems melted down into zinc looks like. The valve stems are, you know, going to make up a very tiny amount of that bucket, and I reckon half the bucket was probably steel weights, and then so that, you know, leaves half a bucket, or a third of a bucket maybe, half to a third of the zinc weights, and then out of that we've got the same quantity in slag. Yeah, you have to do obviously an obligatory stack shot, yeah, because that's what YouTube likes. There's my stack, lads. Whee! These warm. Which is the hot one? Yeah, that's a nice cold one. Yeah, weighty old metal, isn't it? Quite excited about doing some highly dangerous brass casting with some lead as well. I completely understand why these some of these ingot casting channels go ballistic on YouTube, because it is bloody satisfying. It's nice to make the nice ingots in it. And zinc comes out nice and shiny. I suppose that's another reason it's used in cheap die cast components, isn't it? Because you don't necessarily need any more finishing after you've done the casting, do you? I mean, that's kind of obvious with die casting anyway, isn't it? But if you want something bright that's not going to stay bright for very long, but just bright enough that some idiot will buy it, then zinc's a good metal to use, isn't it? Or a zinc alloy anyway. Yeah. Anywho's, at some point I'm gonna melt all my scrap copper down into ingots as well. I'll probably make a different mold, a different ingot mold. You know, maybe have a little play around making brass before I actually need it. Got a little while before I can find some filler primer. Before I can get to the Peterborough and buy, go to the auto refinishers to get some more spray filler primer, 2K filler primer, which is what I'm using with molds, my GRP molds. So I need to find another little job before that happens, and it will probably be dragging the old waste oil burner out of the container and firing that up, seeing if it still works. Maybe it'll be nice for those of you who haven't seen it before. Hey, it's a bit of a peach, Anyway, that's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed me getting metal fume fever. I know I have. It's always a pleasure, and I'll catch you all again soon. Alright, cheerio lads, bye bye.